Okay, looks like we are rocking and rolling here. So, good evening, kids. Just wanted to come in here and explain to you guys what the document I filed earlier called Notice of Lien. That's what it. Forgive my ceiling fan. That's the title. That's the title of the document. I wanted you guys to know what it is and why I constructed it the way I did. So it's very short. I'm going to just read through it real quick and explain it to you. I won't go back into all the judicial report and all that stuff. We'll have plenty of time to go through all that later on when I go through it on the whiteboard. Yes, this is got one box for Tallahassee, one for Columbus, and one for DC by request. So those are getting ready to walk out the door here. So let me run down through this for you real quick. It's basically former husband Christopher Edward Hallett, DBA E-Clause LLC, comes before the court in the form of this notice to advise the court pursuant to any and all applicable laws of the state of Florida as previously articulated to provide clarity in purpose of this action of lien against the Florida Department of Revenue for its trespass of May 1, 2018, in which former husband was unlawfully incarcerated for a debt he does not even owe. The attached pyramid scheme, which I posted a picture of it there for you guys, I found it on the website. The attached pyramid scheme, taken directly from the state of Ohio's website, definitively shows not only the pyramid scheme itself, but also leads to the 10 principles that govern procedure in group decision-making processes. Let me shut this damn thing off, or I'm never going to get this out. Come on, phone, shut up. All right. Let's see here. Starting with there's three most applicable ones. The first one is number 6. There must be an opportunity to debate the question. My response into this was former husband was never invited to participate in such a debate. So that's debate is a requirement. Number 9, there must be no fraud or trickery or deception resulting in the injury of another member. A pyramid scheme is fraud and trickery on its face. This is well-established history. Didn't need me to explain it. But anyway, see attached pyramid scheme for clarity on this one. To be valid, actually in number 10 from the Mason's Manual, to be valid, any action or decision of a body must not violate any applicable law or constitutional provision, which it clearly did. Article 1, Section 11, and I'll get to that in a minute. The action or actions of Department Counsel of May 1, 2018, outlined in the habeas corpus brief prepared by a former husband, provided that's this monstrosity. I had a bunch of them bound, and that's what's in the boxes along with this stuff. Prepared by former husband. Show the clarity necessary here. Upon closer inspection of the processes outlined in this office can conclusively determine the state of Ohio has no standing with which to contract with the Florida Department of Revenue to continue further pursuit of this case, or its alleged debt they claim the former husband owes in this case, but clearly does not owe. Evidence provided on the record. I did get a copy of some information that I needed. So, confirming these emoluments, there's that word again, as unlawful both in origin and execution. I'm going to read that again. Upon closer inspection of the processes outlined, this office can conclusively determine the state of Ohio has no standing with which to contract with the Florida Department of Revenue to continue further pursuit of this case, or its alleged debt they claim the former husband owes in this case, but clearly does not owe. Evidence provided on the record, confirming these emoluments as unlawful in both origin and execution. Therefore, it is the conclusions of this office to direct the court to facilitate and enforce the attached lien with remittance for damages in accordance with Article 12, also attached, of the Florida State Constitution. Article 12 is that new mandatory enforcement, and we go back to legislative intent on that. Legislative intent, remember we talked about that on the show. It's what legislative intent is, what's on the ballot. That's why I made this for you. And creates constitutional rights for victims of crime, requires courts to facilitate victims' rights, and authorizes victims to enforce their rights throughout the criminal and juvenile justice processes, requires judges and hearing officers to independently interpret statutes and rules rather than deterring to government agencies' interpretation. Now, why is that significant? The reason is because before this legislation passed, remember those guidance policy documents were created by the Obama Justice Department? That was where the trespasses were originally articulated. And the reason that nobody knows how the hell to find this shit, which is why I started doing this. So because those are policies, they're not based in law, they don't pass the strict scrutiny standard to meet the 10 criteria made out in the Mason's Procedural Legislative Manual, right? Because this was arbitrarily done behind closed doors, pretty much like every one of our cases has been done, right? So Congress wasn't advised for oversight. This policy was created without the consent of Congress. That means, by definition, it is an unauthorized practice of law on its face. Let me say that again. It's an unauthorized practice of law on its face because Congress did not oversee the process. They did not oversee, hell, they couldn't even get copies of the guidance, much less be able to sign off on it. So, again, pay close attention to what's going on in D.C. right now with the whole Mueller, Rosenstein, Whitaker cluster that's going on in there right now. So anyway, continuing, here's the lien document. This is actually what a lien looks like. And the reason it's in blue ink is because that's a requirement from the state of Florida. So there's the actual lien document. And it's in the 60 pages there for you. So if you want to read it, you can. There's the remittance for damages. I promised I'd get them. There is the pyramid scheme, that pyramid scheme that I posted for you guys to see. So, yeah, there's some pretty pissed off moms that have gotten a hold of that. I feel sorry for those poor bastards in Ohio. I'm glad I'm in Florida. Let's just put it that way. So, the filing number on that document was, I got the receipt that I got from when I filed it electronically. Here it is, submission number 80948-342. So, and again, that's on the copy, on the title. When I sent this out, that's why I posted it after I filed it. Across the top, you're going to notice the numbers that are on the filing. That's why I called it that. That's the filing numbers that are on the electronic version to show that it did follow process. So, again, this is a neat, everybody talks about, one of the things you guys need to know is there are the three criteria that basically talk about where you stand in court or where you stand in law. You're here referred to as status, standing, and jurisdiction. Okay. I claim my status as a citizen pursuant to the amicus brief, which is over here on my left shoulder somewhere. My standing is in the 4 pillars of law. Remember, I did that on the whiteboard for you. And the jurisdiction I have lawfully declared is Congress. And the reason for that is because of what I discovered in my investigation, right, of the unlawful processes pursuant to the guidance document problem and what it takes to unscrew that. So how much history and all that stuff is not really as relevant as knowing where to go in and show definitively. Because remember, these are a lot of the people, especially at state level, they've never done anything like this, so they don't even know it when they see it. That's one of the reasons why the law, the Constitution says we have to instruct our representatives. Take a copy of the book with you. That's good advice. So when you can go in there and you can definitively start going down through the 10 criteria, right there on page 2, knowing that this is if it falls outside of these 10 criteria, it doesn't exist, right? So the fact that I could pull 3 of them out readily, easily. I mean, there's more in there. Basically, the first one is the group must have authority to take the action it purports to take. Family rights and civil rights have not a damn thing in the world to do with the establishment, support, or management of government. So technically speaking, they can't even get past number 1, right? So let's just call that spade a spade, but I'll deal with that in D.C. Jurisdiction must be given. It cannot be assumed. There's a big one, right? You have to give jurisdiction. They can't assume it. Groups sometimes assume powers that they do not have. Imagine that. So that goes back to the guidance document problem, right? So that's why I wanted to keep you kids abreast of what's going on and why the filing the notice of lien, that now that we have the provisions in the state constitution that the court must facilitate and enforce victims' rights. So this is this is going to be one hell of a year. I can promise you that right now. There's going to be a whole lot of fighting going on, man. So do yourselves a favor and pop some popcorn and kick back and enjoy the show, because we're going to have a good time with it. And on that note, you guys won't be. I mean, I've posted this so you guys could download it and read it if you want to, but you don't have to. But anyway, that's the importance. I'm sure you've probably already read or had it read to you, the habeas and parliamentary inquiry related to what's been going on over these last 12 months. So that said, I'm going to jump off of here, try to figure out who's blowing the phone up, and I will talk to you guys later. Let me see if let's see what's going on. Tanya Amelia says, I want to come back on the show, talk to you, new segment, social media network, solving problems of the justice system. Absolutely, Amelia. I'd love to come back on the show and do a segment with you. Hi, Christina Lynn, Tanya. And okay, I will definitely be hitting you up this week, Amelia. I miss talking to you on the show. So we'll come together, have another little fun session, and get that rascal posted everywhere we can. So on that note, everybody, much love, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.